always on the lookout for amazing manga. If you guys think it is absolutely amazing and needs to be read, let me know down in the comments, because guys, I want to read it all. I want to read all the manga. Let's get into the first one. I have some notes here on my phone. This is probably not going to be in order either, because sometimes I forget what order I have read my manga in. But let's go. Let's talk about Orange first. Now, I believe way back when Orange first came out, I may have read like the first chapter or something, but I don't know, I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and I've only just, can you believe it, I've only just read Orange. It's one of those series that was so hyped and so well loved that those types of series, I always go, oh my god, I'm gonna love this, and if I don't read it at the right time, I'm gonna hate it, and I really want to love it. And I mean, I should really stop doing that, because either way, I'm gonna love a series or I'm gonna hate it. It doesn't really matter, right? So I did read Orange. Let me go on this side so I can put up some pictures. Orange doesn't have a lot of volumes. I think there's maybe 7. I think there is 7. It originally came out in English in the omnibuses, and I think one of the reasons why I did want to pick it up is that they are releasing the singles in a box set in English, and they look absolutely beautiful, and you get postcards with them as well. So I'm like, if there's any time to read this series, it's now. So if I really love it, I can pick up the box set. I think it's been released in the US. Here in Australia, I don't think it's been released quite yet, but I was so excited for that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up now. I'm gonna do it. And I liked it, okay? I really did like it, but I have a few things that maybe don't sit quite right with me. Yeah, it's really hard to explain, because the characters are beautiful, okay? The story, the writing, the atmosphere is beautiful. The artwork is absolutely amazing and stunning. And you know, I was going into this, when I read the first chapter, I was like, okay, I hope this ends up being a story with a message about, you know, you can't change your past. And within the first few volumes, it wasn't trying to do that. It was leaning heavily towards, yes, you can change your past. We want to change our past. There was no really big epiphany for the main female character where she straight out said, I shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. I should be happy with my future self. So if you are unfamiliar with Orange, it is about these high school students who end up receiving letters from themselves 10 years in the future, and these letters, this isn't a spoiler, maybe it is, so I won't say. So they end up receiving letters with some bad news, and these letters are trying to tell the people that they've been sent to, so themselves in the past, to do these things so you can change the future, so this person that you love will be happy. Now, to me, I just go, okay, you really shouldn't be putting so much emphasis and strain and being your responsibility and your mistakes and your regrets, because at the end of the day, that person made those decisions themselves. And nowhere in the manga it really talked about that. Nowhere in the manga did it say, it's okay, you did what you did, it's not your fault that that person did those things, it's not your responsibility. What I really loved about this is that they focused, once they knew what was going to happen, they focused a lot on their friend's mental health and always being available for that person, which I found really beautiful. But it was a little bit too much for that other person, that these people didn't really focus on themselves anymore, which, you know, it's very great. It's a great area, but it didn't explore that, which I really wish that it did. And then the ending kind of left me a little bit with a foul taste in my mouth. I don't know, if you guys have read Orange, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the ending. For me, it was a little bit like, really? Because the person 10 years in the future knows what they have. They have, spoiler, okay, they have a family, and you're telling yourself 10 years in the past to change that. You could be essentially destroying your child's life. That made me feel really, really uncomfortable. So yeah, that's my opinion on Orange. Now, at the moment, I'm reading Fruits Basket. I know, a classic, everybody's favorite. I've never read Fruits Basket before. I did watch the original anime when I was a little bit younger. I found it alright. It was very, very hyped at the time, and it's continued to be a favorite and pretty hyped within, you know, its own niche and its own circle. So I always thought, oh, everybody said like, oh, the anime was amazing, and I watched it and it wasn't really that amazing. So I've been putting off reading the manga because, again, everybody says it's so good, it's one of their favorites of all time, and I was just like, I don't know, I don't believe you guys. But I've been reading it. I think I'm up to like volume 7 or something. I didn't necessarily love the start. It felt very just generic, and I was just kind of like, how is this so popular? I would understand because it is an older series that back in the day, it was probably at the height of its genre, and a lot of people probably liked it because it was something unique and something different. I mean, zodiac animals, and then them changing into that, pretty cute guys, lots of characters, so I understood it. But if I was comparing it to a lot of manga that is pretty recent, I kind of go, it's not that good. But because I've been reading it more and more, I'm binging it. I am falling more and more in love with it. I mean, there's a lot of depth to it, and it's starting to develop those backstories now. At the start, it was pretty episodic. We were going, okay, this is another person in the family, what animal are they? And that was kind of like the episodic nature of it. But I love just the message that it conveys. I love that our main character, Toru Honda, she has such amazing friends, and she's so happy and so positive. She is definitely somebody that you can look up to and respect, and to change your own views about your own life, because she has been through pretty much a lot, but her outlook on life, it's just something, it's so admirable. It's just, it makes you go, wow, you're right, you should be happy. So that's why I love this manga. I don't know if I'm going to collect, I know the omnibuses are out and they are beautiful, so I might start picking those up, especially secondhand. I have seen a lot of really decent ones secondhand, so maybe in the next haul I might have those. But I'm still yet to really go, I love, 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 love this. But I am really liking where the story is headed. I love all the character development. I actually love all the characters as well. I think they are all very unique, very, very different. Maybe not for manga, but within the series itself, they all definitely stand out on their own. They have very different personalities. I love Toru as well, because she is so strong in such a beautiful way. Yeah, like I said, definitely somebody to look up to. Moving on, I've also been reading, is it Moontail? This one here, I can't remember the title of it. Yeah, it's been good. It's not something that I go, wow, this is so amazing, but I do know it is a classic that a lot of people do love and still enjoy. I don't know, I think the main character is fun, she's silly, she's quirky, she's She's a bit of a ditz. She's supposed to be a ninja and a shinobi, but she's kind of just really lazy. She does have specialty in medicine, but I'm not too convinced about the romance. And guys, oftentimes I read stuff for the romance. Also, it's based pretty like heavily, if not a little bit loosely, like it has its own spin to it, on Japanese history, which I mean I know a little bit about, but it's not explained in the manga very, very well. So I do get a little bit lost and go, okay, like when there's places named, I go, I have no idea. Yeah, it's cool, it's quirky. Give it a read if you want to read adventure, history, adjacent, kind of quirky ninja story. It's cool, but it's not. It's just a bit meh. The next ones I have, Fullmetal Alchemist is my favorite anime of all time. Saying that, I always put off reading the manga because I didn't want my opinion to change. I didn't want the manga to be boring and then have to just like wade my way through the mud, but I love it, of course. Why would I even think that I would not love this series in manga format? It's so good. It's so amazing. Again, I just love the characters in this series. I love that it's loosely based off history. I love Ed and Al. Winry is my favorite character. I always wanted to be like her when I was younger. The earrings, the hairstyle, everything like that. But I read volumes 5 and 6 of the hardcover editions because I am collecting these ones because they're beautiful. I will say that it's been hard to collect them without them being too damaged, especially from Amazon, because they don't do like packaging, bubble wrap, even paper in their boxes anymore. So sometimes they can come a little bit scratched. I have had to send a few back. Yeah, I wish they were covered in plastic, especially like the foiling on the front gets quite damaged. Amazing. Fullmetal Alchemist. I love the concept of family in this, family bonds, chosen family. I love the alchemy in this and Roy Mustang. It's almost like these characters have powers, if that's kind of how I'm loosely going to describe it if you have never read or watched Fullmetal Alchemist before. But it's about two brothers who are alchemists who try and bring their mother back to life, and it all kind of goes a little bit pear-shaped, and then they go on a journey looking for this thing called the Philosopher's Stone. Now along the way there are a lot of people that they have to fight, a lot of bad guys, a lot of really, really just horrible human beings that they have to deal with. So the fight scenes in this, top notch, epic. I love the humor. A lot of people say that, you know, the small short jokes, you know, they haven't aged very well, but for me, every single time, so funny, hilarious. I love that type of humor. And it's like humor mixed with just absolute devastation, but still so strong. I love the concept of equivalent exchange as well, that you can't get anything without giving something in return. I feel like that is something that everybody should live by. If I was to give an example, I would go, you know, if you want the best beach body ever, then you're not going to get it unless you do something to earn it. Great, amazing series that everybody needs to read, or at least watch the anime. The next series that I started, I haven't quite finished it yet, is Kimi wa Pet. I think the English name for this is something Tramps. I will put a picture up here. It has been good so far. I've really enjoyed it. I thought I would enjoy it a lot more than I have been, but I think it's maybe because I did stop. But yeah, the first few volumes weren't amazing. I didn't get like overly excited about it, but Still pretty good, a good older series. It was recently, maybe not too recently, but it is digitally available on Kodansha's website to read. You can't get the volumes anymore because it is an older series, but it's just one of those series that everybody told me to read because I do like reading older out of print work, because I just think there's so many amazing gems. So it is a shame that, you know, we don't get as many reprints and republishing as what we maybe should, but that's okay as long as you can get them digitally. This one is about this lady, and she finds this kind of homeless guy, and she pretty much just looks after him, and it's not sexual at the start. So the title kind of suggests that, and the description kind of suggests that, you know, this guy is her pet and, you know, she looks after him and he gives her things in return. But what he actually gives her in return is companionship. It's just kind of about their life at the start. Yeah, I'm hoping that it does develop a little bit more into more of a relationship, but it is definitely more on that mature side. We have a working lady and a working guy as well, so definitely not too young. So if you're looking for something a little bit mature, this one, but not overly like sexualized, this one is really cute. What I really love about this is their relationship. You can tell that they love each other so much and that they rely on each other so much. You can tell that they just kind of get each other, and I love that type of story. I've read maybe one volume of Way of the House Husband. I'm not the biggest episodic person because I find that you don't get as much character development or as much plot, but sometimes you need these as a palate cleanser, and I've been reading a lot of romance and a lot of hard-hitting shoujo as well, so sometimes I just need something funny, silly, something that's not going to take too much of my mental capacity, not too much brain work, and this one is definitely it. I've enjoyed volume 1. It's just silly, you know. I find the concept really like funny as well, that it's this like yakuza or ex-yakuza like member, and he is just trying to go around being a cinnamon roll, but everybody thinks he is just the scariest guy ever. But then they work out well. He's cooking, he's cleaning, he's just being a house husband, and that is just it. It's funny, it's silly. I'd recommend it if you like that kind of story and concept, or just something, like I said, as a palate cleanser. It's different, you know. The absolute favorite manga that I have read within the last month or so has been Mars. Mars, guys. Mars. An oldie, but an absolute legend. This is goated. This bro. Sinbad, let me tell you, calm down, girlfriend. I love this series so much. It has become one of my favorite series, so you guys know that it's going to have a place on my shelf as soon as I can find them. They are so hard to find, especially in Australia. I really envy all of you who live in the US. I've maybe come across like volumes like 1 and 2 that have been in the most horrendous condition ever, and they still want like $400. $400 is like 600 USD. No, I don't get it. But this, I desperately want it to be re-released. I need a reprint so I can have it beautifully on my shelves. Mars is about this high school student who is very quiet, very timid, and she meets the school delinquent one day at the park, and then it kind of goes from there. So he rides motorbikes as well. She is an artist, and there's a lot of tragedy in this. There's a lot of deep topics, but it essentially goes through them, their high school life, them forming this beautiful relationship and connection to one another, and they really just become each other's family. And that's what I love so much about this. It's amazing. The art is stunning as well, and the story, how it's written, just give it to me, okay? I love it so much. You guys need to read this series if you haven't already. I hold it on such a high pedestal now. I just binged all of it. I could not stop thinking about it. The next series that I read was one called Wild Ones. This one essentially is about this girl. I think her mum passes away, so she moves in with her granddad. Her granddad is the head of this almost yakuza group, so she's kind of thrust into this lifestyle, but it is more about her school life. And because she is now a part of this yakuza family, she has somebody that takes care of her, almost kind of like a bodyguard. It's just about her high school life, kind of not letting people at her school know that this is her family. But it's a romance, but there's not too much romance in it. At the end, they kind of, no. It's okay, it's nothing amazing. If that sounds like it's something you would enjoy, definitely go and try it out. It's not as good as Mars, but it was still nice to read. I still liked it. It was cute, the characters were cute. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. The next series, and probably the last, I think, one that I'm going to talk about today, is Shortcake Cake. I started reading Shortcake Cake maybe a few months ago. I read a few volumes. I wasn't totally into it. I feel like the start is a little bit slow. So I got distracted with other things, okay? Mars came into my life. But then I was like, okay, I should really, because I did enjoy it, so I wanted to see if I enjoyed it a little bit more. So I did pick it up again, and I loved it. This is probably my second or third favorite on this list. It's about this girl. She lives very remotely, so she decides to move into a boarding house, and in this boarding house there are 5 other people. The main characters are this person here, this person, and this person. I forget names because guys, I read too much manga to really commit names to memory. It's essentially about these 3 and their dynamic. So you find out really early on that this guy really likes this girl, and yeah, it's just him kind of then going, I really don't want to upset her, so I'm not going to interact with her too much because she's already turned me down. And you find this out in maybe the first volume, and essentially it's just their high school life. It's about family as well. So this guy here is from a pretty affluent family, but he has some family issues. This guy here is related to him, but you kind of don't find out until a little bit later on in the series why they are so estranged and why they kind of hate each other. Further on, the first chapters, I think, like I was saying, I didn't like it so much because it was slower, but once we start getting into this family dynamic and understanding a little bit more of the character's backstory, it starts to develop a lot more depth to the plot. The main female lead helps this person out a lot. And also, the best part about this series, in my opinion, is the 2 male leads and their dynamic. It is so funny. This guy here, oh my god, I remember his name. His name is Chiaki. He is just a cinnamon roll. He tries to be this person's best friend, but it's so funny. It's so wholesome. I just really liked it. So that's all the manga that I read in the last month or so. Let me know down in the comments what recent reads you guys have been reading. What have you been absolutely loving? And also let me know what I should stay clear of as well. What's worth the hype, what's not. I will see you guys probably next month with another reading wrap up as well. But in the meantime, I will be putting out probably, I would try to once a week, a video relating to manga. I have maybe a haul to do as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.